TikTok and YouTube, and here with Solid Christian Teachings. I'm going to open in prayer. Heavenly Father Jehovah, I give you glory and honor and praise because you're worthy. Please give me your words, your wisdom for your glory, not mine. In Yeshua, Jesus' name, amen. Excuse me. Ooh, I just drank some water. Hold on. Anyway, this video is going to get kind of personal. It's not going to be about God, although there's always going to be everything about God because, or more like he's in everything because he's involved in everything. Let's see if I can do this while driving. But I have a GoFundMe that's going to be up soon. I know I keep saying that, but it's really hard for me to write it about myself. So now a friend offered to write it, so she's helping. It's hard to explain my own problems and not sound weird or beggy, but whatever. I feel like God wants me to do this because he's like, Ann, I love you, you're worth help. So I'm going to talk about my medical problems, and then you can know that they're real, and hopefully God heals them. But in the meantime, I need help. Financially, physically. Y'all can't come here and help me physically, though, so if you help me financially, that would help physically. So, where to begin, Lord? Oh yeah, if I have the energy, I will post some links below with blood tests and stuff. I'm trying to figure out how to upload it in such a way that everyone can see it, maybe a Google document or something. And how do I upload it without revealing my full identity so I don't get stalkers? Y'all don't need to know my birthday or medical ID numbers or last name. Oh well, we'll figure it out. But yeah, let's just lunge into it then. So while I'm driving, because I need to get home. It's gonna get real dark because I was just at a gas station. Well, we could do that to make light, but I need to get home. And I'm really busy, so I make a lot of videos while I'm driving. If I wasn't talking to you guys, I'd be talking to God or talking to myself. Honestly, talking actually keeps me more focused when driving because I have ADHD. Well, kind of. I take that back. I don't want to label myself God. Technically, I've been diagnosed with it and I can claim it, but God's fixing it a lot, so I'm not going to claim it anymore. But, literally, they'd be like, oh, squirrel! I forgot to buckle. Hold on. Anyway, I'd be like, oh, squirrel! If I wasn't busy talking to you. I honestly am more likely to crash when I'm not doing something else because then my brain is going to wander. Anyway, so medical things. So, long story short, I have a genetic liver disorder. In case you haven't seen my testimony video of how God saved my life, I know it's an hour and a half long, I'm sorry. I keep trying to make a shorter version, but I talk too much. Anyhoozles, there's some slightly shorter versions too. There's a playlist on my channel titled All Copies of My Testimony or something like that. The main one that I like the most is called Scientific Proof God is Real, which I do have because that's how I got diagnosed. I was an atheist, well, agnostic, and God spoke to me, thus saith the Lord, booming voice of the Creator, told me what was wrong with me. I went to the doctor, the specialist for it, who I had never heard of, and he diagnosed me, and he's like, you have this genetic disorder, and these hundreds of other things resulting from it, and it was a disorder I had never even heard of, and God's the one who told me. So, you can Google it. And now again, I'll try to remember to include some links describing it below, but if I don't, or my assistant maybe hopefully can, but if I or she doesn't, you can Google it. Oh, yes, side note, in case you guys don't know, Shekinah46, the girl in the comments, she's my assistant. If she answers a question, I can pretty much vouch for her that it's going to be correct. She has pretty good understanding of theology, and most of the questions she runs by me. She's learned a lot, and I trust her to answer. And plus, she's a sweet girl and has a heart to follow the Lord, and she's awesome. So, if Shekinah46 answers you, you can basically count that as an answer from me. She's just going to give you the exact same answer I'm going to give you. Any hizzles. So, what was I saying, Jesus? Yeah, so you can Google the disorders I have. You can read about them. The first one is called HLA-DR genetic defect. And then you might want to type in the phrase along with it, dreaded mold gene. Because that's what its nickname is. Dreaded mold gene. Because it sucks that much to have. About 25% of the population has a partially impaired version of this gene. 1% has a severely impaired version of this gene. 0.01% has a severely double copy impaired version of the gene. And I'm that last one. Unfortunately for me. Jesus, can you please heal me? You're planning on it? Okay, cool. Thanks, God. Pretty sure it's going to heal me. That's not a thus saith the Lord, a thing I just heard in my head, but it just occurred to me, and I've been praying about it for a while. I think it's going to heal me. But in the meantime. Anyhoozles. So, I don't know how much medical knowledge you have watching this, so probably just kind of explain it like I'm explaining it to a baby or square one or something, and don't take this as an insult if you know more medical knowledge than this, but not everyone does. So anyway, you guys have a liver. It sits right about here. It's like a triangle-shaped leg. I can't do it while driving. It's like a triangle-shaped organ. Google it. Your liver is your filtration system for your entire body. It filters out poisons and toxins. And just waste. You know, even the products our own cells make poop. Even each little tiny cell makes poop. And then it all gets like put into the bloodstream, and the blood runs through the liver like a filter, and the liver filters it. So the liver filters all of our toxins that our own body produces, our cellular waste. It filters toxins from the air we breathe. It filters toxins from the food we eat. And this day and age, this modern day and age, is the most toxic filled time in human history that has ever occurred. And it's really frustrating because a lot of these toxins, they they'll research it. And first of all, most research studies are corrupt and industry funded and totally biased and not trustworthy. And I say that as a quote from a Harvard MD. You can Google her. Her name is Dr. Jennifer Daniels. She, in an interview, said, "Why don't you trust medical research, Dr. Daniels?" And she said, "Because there's not a single research study I've ever participated in where I was not asked or forced to falsify evidence." So, anyway. But most things that are labeled as safe are only studied for it didn't kill you in like a day, in like a really small dose. What about eating it like day after day after day for hundreds of years, for 50 years, and not just in that one product, but it's in 100 other products in your skin, in your water, in your food, combined for 100 years. A whole lot more toxic under those circumstances. And it's not just like this one item, it's this one item combined with 100 other toxins you encounter throughout the day. Combined with electromagnetic frequencies, which are, I'll do a video on that sometime, but those are actually not safe. And no, I'm not talking about cell phone radiation, although that's not safe either, and poorly researched either, and falsified evidence too. But actually, electromagnetic frequencies, we're electromagnetic creatures. Our heart is electrical, our thoughts are electrical, our nerves are electrical, everything about us is electrical. We're electrical. We could power a light bulb if you plugged us in. And then there's electromagnetic frequencies all around us, bombarding us all day. It harms our bodies in 100 ways beyond radiation. But industries only fund radiation studies. Anyway, but even those are mostly falsified. All independent research studies on cell phones show them to be extremely dangerous. But I digress. All industry-funded ones show them to be inconclusive or safe. But that's because they want them to be safe because they sell them. All independent ones show them as very harmful. But anyway, side note, I'm sensitive to electromagnetic frequencies. That's why I know it so much. I'm sensitive to everything. So here's the thing. My body's just sensitive. I'm sensitive to mold because I can't filter it out. I'm sensitive to electromagnetic frequencies. I'm sensitive to infections. It's all stuff that's bad for everybody, but it gets bad on me real quick. So, so the main thing would be this genetic disorder where I don't filter out mold. Mold, like the fuzzy things that grows in your food if you leave it out for too long. Although food mold is usually not a very poisonous species. Usually. Sometimes it's bad. But building material mold is usually way more poisonous. So, what most people don't know is that mold harms in 3 different ways. The first one is spores, and people can have allergic reactions to spores. I'm not allergic to mold. I don't have allergic reactions. But that's the one that 99% of doctors, that's like practically all they know about. And everyone's like, oh, so you just get like an itchy nose? No, dude. No. Anyway, the second one is infections. Mold is a type of fungus. It's in the fungus species, and it can infect people. There's about 4 main types of infections humans can have: bacteria, virus, fungus, and parasite. They're all different like categories of creatures. So just like you can have a virus or a bacterial infection, you can have a fungal infection. I do have some of those, but they're not the biggest of my issues either. The third way that mold is harmful, and I have yet to meet other than one doctor who was taught this in medical school. Medical schools just skip this. They just don't put it in textbooks, probably because it would cure a whole lot of people of illnesses. And plus, there's not a lot of money in treating it, and mostly industry-funded studies that are published are published by pharmaceutical companies looking to make money. That's how textbooks are created. They want to make money. Anyway, the almighty dollar rules many decisions in the world, guys. It's very depressing. Anywho, so it's not taught very often, but it really should be, because it would change the health of the entire world. Poison. Mold is poison. It's actually probably the most prevalent poison on Earth. And yet you've probably never heard that it's poisonous, right? Most of you probably haven't. Poisonous. Not allergic, not infectious. Poisonous. Like drinking arsenic would kill you. Like eating lead paint would kill you. Like poison. Like if you went to go poison my drink and I drank it, like it would kill my cells by it being toxic and poison and destroying the cells. Mold produces poisonous gases. So mold, growing on something, if you were to look at it under a microscope, it's like a little microscopic bush. And then the spores that it creates are like flowers on the bush to reproduce. So the flowers break off and float away, and they try to land somewhere so they can grow more moldies somewhere. And spores are what causes allergies. But take a Benadryl and it's not that severe usually. It very rarely kills allergy. Allergies very rarely kill. Anyway, what most people don't know is that the mold also breathes, and it breathes out a poisonous gas. And it's severely poisonous, depending on the species. And out of the 10 deadliest biochemical poisons in the whole world, mold is 8 of the 10. And you can Google this. This is a scientific fact. You can read a paper on it somewhere. Out of the 8 of the 10 deadliest biochemical weapons in the world are mold toxins. And this was taught to me by a biochemical warfare specialist who educated me on mold. You can look him up. His name is Eric Johnson. Eric, A-R-I-K, Johnson. He wrote a book on it. You can Google it and find his book. He has the same illness I have. That's how he learned about it. Anyway, these biochemical poisons are so deadly, they are illegal in warfare. They're so poisonous, it's just deemed not fair to use them against your enemies, because it kills them too quick and it torments them too severely. Yeah, those are the things I can't filter out that I'm poisoned with 24/7. Wow, God must be keeping me alive all the time, which he is. And yes, God's the only reason I'm sane, because my life is extremely difficult. Just to be honest. I'm poisoned 24/7 with poison so severe it's illegal in warfare, because grown soldiers break down crying and dying from it. So, poison goes everywhere. Every inch of my body hurts all the time. I'm exhausted all the time. I'm low on oxygen all the time because it doesn't let my body use oxygen correctly. I'm malnourished all the time because it doesn't let my body use nutrition correctly. I'm dehydrated all the time because it blocks the transfer of water molecules into cells all the time. I'm inflamed inflamed all the time because poison is trying to kill my cells all the time, so they're all inflamed. My immune system's flipping the frick out all the time because it's like, what's happening? We don't know. Let's just make inflammation. It's like if they were like just confused police officers running everywhere trying to freak out and find the enemy attacking them, but they can't find it, so then they start accidentally stabbing each other. That's like my immune system. And then they're so busy stabbing each other that they miss like the real enemies. So then I'm immune compromised. And then since I've been immune compromised for a good 15 years of my life, I have a lot of infections, underlying infections. I catch things easily, and I caught a lot of them, especially before I was correctly diagnosed. So, like sinus infections, digestive infections. I mean, I have like 4 types of sinus infection at this very moment. It's really annoying. A lot of digestive problems because I ended up getting a severe mold infection in my intestines. Then I had hundreds of food allergies, thousands actually, when God saved my life. I was allergic to all but 9 foods on earth because the mold had torn holes in my intestines. And food leaked out undigested into my blood, and I would build up antibodies against the food because my body thought, well, that's not the right size shape. That's not digested, so that's not food. That's an enemy. We need to destroy it. So, for example, I would eat like watermelon. And the watermelon would leak undigested into my bloodstream, and my body would freak out and be like, what, enemy, enemy, make antibodies. Make antibodies, which are, like weapons your immune system uses to fight things. Make antibodies against watermelon. Watermelon's invading us. You know, antibodies usually fight like bacteria and viruses. That's why you can go get like a coronavirus test for antibodies, which will prove you had it. It doesn't prove you currently have it. It just proves you had it sometime in the past because now you have antibodies prepared to fight against it. But anyway, I digress. So my body makes antibodies against things it's not supposed to. It's not your fault, body. I mean, you're supposed to. There's just not supposed to be watermelon in your blood. It's okay. Anyway, yeah, so when God saved my life, the holes in my intestines had gone undiagnosed for so long. I had thousands of food allergies. And I've been healing that for years, and the antibodies have faded, / I think God just flat out supernaturally healed a lot of them, because I can eat a lot of foods again. And I've been working on healing my digestion for years. But that was a rough 5 years of my life where I could only eat 9 foods. Everyone always wants to know the 9. They're curious. I'll share before the light changes. Chicken, salmon, turkey. Chicken, salmon, turkey, broccoli, green beans, cabbage, cauliflower, radishes. I couldn't have a speck of white sugar. It would have fed the mold infection in my intestines too much. I would literally break down in a mental meltdown of neurotoxins and poison so severe I could barely move whenever I used to eat sugar. Thankfully, that's a lot better lately. Couldn't eat carbohydrates very much either. I had to have very little carbohydrates. Couldn't have bread, couldn't have rice, couldn't have potatoes. Could only eat proteins and green vegetables for 5 years. Couldn't even have spices. It was very intense. I used to complain to God about it until one day he got upset at me, rightfully so. I was upset that I was having broccoli and chicken for the 100th breakfast. And I was like, God, I just want cereal. And I was so upset, and I was complaining to him, and he got angry at me. I could feel he was angry at me, and I was like, why are you angry at me, sir? And he says, quit complaining. You have unlimited amounts of those 9 foods. You have food in your refrigerator right now. You can make your stomach full. You have money in your bank account, and you can go to the store and buy as many of those 9 foods as you want right now. There are people in this world who don't even have 1 food. So stop complaining. He was right. I stopped complaining. Perspective, guys. Even 9 foods is way more blessed than some people. But I digress. This video is not complaining. The point of me making this video is to educate. So that's all the stuff I'm healing from and recovering from. I still have to avoid mold, like my life depends on it, because it does. And unfortunately for me, my apartment had a water leak recently and mold grew. Because there was hundreds of gallons of water pouring from my ceiling because the person above me's water heater broke. And the leasing office just stuck a fan on it. Fans don't penetrate over 100 square feet of wood and hundreds of gallons of water. And now there's mold and I need to move and it's making me sick. And I have a dental infection, 4 of them, maybe 3 by now, where my wisdom teeth used to be because I'm immune compromised and I have sinus infections and it infected my wisdom tooth extraction sites. And then the skin healed over it, but there's a little Noah's Ark of bacteria inside holes in my mouth. And it's wrecking me, guys. It's real bad. Low-key kind of like, hey God, am I gonna die from this? Kind of bad. Because like, I'm immune compromised. I have a severe infection that antibiotics can't reach. It's like a bubble. 3 bubbles inside. The bone keeps refusing to heal because it's infected. And antibiotics can reach where blood flows, but blood's not flowing inside the holes where teeth used to be. So I keep getting reinfected. And I'm on like 4 antibiotics, which is, you're not supposed to be on that many. And I've been on them for like 9 or 10 months on mega high doses that you're not supposed to be on for more than like a week. And it started tearing holes in my intestines again, because that's what strong antibiotics will do. So now I'm developing food allergies again, which is really upsetting me because I just spent 5 years healing my digestion. I try very hard not to complain lately and still be grateful, because life has been very hard the last few months. That's why my videos have gone less, because it started happening about 9 months ago and it's just been getting worse and worse and worse. Because I've had 2 surgeries to try to fix the infection and it's still infected. And my doctor's like, well, you can't stay on these antibiotics because it's destroying your gut and your body and you're not supposed to be on these for so long, so go off of them. And then I go off of them and I get reinfected and I get septic again. In case you don't know, septic is where the infection starts spreading into your blood and it'll kill you real quick. So, am I gonna die from this? I don't know yet. So I guess the treatment plan at the moment is getting somewhere mold-free so my immune system's not so repressed. Which I'm working on. Start healing my digestion, which I can't entirely until the antibiotics are gone, but again, living away from mold will help my digestion heal too. At the moment, my body's so inflamed from the mold exposure I'm currently in that it's making everything 100 times worse. And then step 3, and then try to kill all the sinus infections with like spraying 100 different things up in there. And then step 4, have another surgery to try to fix these infections. They go up in there and they like cut it open and like scrape out all the gooey infected goop. So that's what I need money for, because I've been sick for 15 years and severely sick for 6 years. And my family's been helping me. But I'm too sick to work at the moment, to tell you the truth. I'm exhausted all the time. I feel like I have the flu all the time. So I'm not working at the moment. And yet I need thousands of dollars to break my lease, thousands of dollars to get another apartment, thousands of dollars for medicine. My medicines are probably like $3,000 a month. And those are just for the bare minimum keep in, not dying medicines. If I actually wanted to get good treatment and get myself stronger, I would need like probably $10,000 a month. Oh yeah, I have heavy metal poisoning too, because when you're so toxically overburdened as my body is, you don't filter hardly any toxins out very well. It's like a funnel, or like a bathtub. My body's like a bathtub, and you pour dirty water into the bathtub all day long, and most people have a big drain and they can filter it out, but my drain is tiny. And then on top of it, my drain is clogged. So my drain is clogged and toxins build up in my body, not just mold toxins, everything. pesticides, plastics. I can't even drink tap water without my throat closing up because of the toxins in the tap water. Chemicals, cleaning chemicals. I also have something called multiple chemical sensitivity. Chemicals are toxins. Most people's bodies can handle the toxins and flush them out, but mine's too burdened. Everywhere I go, I get sick. Every minute of my day, I'm sick. My brain's doing a lot better in the last few years because treatment has been helping, but sometimes I get brain foggy or forgetful. It causes hormone disorders, causes mood disorders, which again, God usually largely protects and helps me from, like, but it still messes with me some emotionally. The number one cause of death with this disorder I have is suicide. Because you're just tortured all the time. You can look up a paper on it by a doctor, a psychologist. Her name is Dr. Mary Ackerley, Ackerley. Her paper is titled, Brain on Fire. Because mold sets the brain on fire, metaphorically. Mold poisoning. Wow, God, you must really be protecting me, because a lot of these things, especially the neurological symptoms, are a lot better. They're not entirely gone. But he does shelter me from a lot. And they're a lot better, ironically. The antibiotics are helping the inflammation, but they're also killing my digestion. Anyway, I digress. I'm trying not to complain too much, in case you haven't noticed. Because God is helping me. My brain is more clear than it used to be. A lot more clear. I used to be like Alzheimer's patient level sick. Like, I couldn't even remember what I was. It used to be so bad I used to not even be able to remember 30 seconds ago. It was terrifying. And God's been fixing that and healing me for years. So it's getting better. My brain actually works pretty well lately. But a lot of other stuff is broken. So, there you have it. That's the things I'm going through. And that's not even all of them. This video is almost 30 minutes long. This is just the highlights. But there's other things wrong, and I just don't have the time to list every detail. And on top of it, I don't even remember. Because there's hundreds. Like, I'll be filling out medical paperwork, and I'll be like, oh, that's right, I have that too. Forgot about that one. Hi there. Oh yeah, I have scoliosis. No, yeah, scoliosis too. My spine is curved funny. That causes a lot of severe pain. But I digress. So if you want to help, please ask God if you're supposed to. I'm not greedy. I'm not going to buy fancy things. In case you haven't seen my clothes, they're not designer. And I'm not going to show you my apartment because it's messy, but it's nothing fancy. I don't even own a TV. But it's also because I don't like TV. You can go watch my videos on that. I'm like, God doesn't like TV. It's very spiritually dangerous. Go watch some of my videos on that. But anyway. But even then, like, my laptop that I use, like, for stuff, like, it's not fancy. My phone's not the fanciest. I don't care about worldly things. I'm not doing this GoFundMe to buy myself fancy things. I'm doing it because I actually really need help. I need a new place to live, and I need money for medicines really badly. My family is just about out of money. They can't keep helping me. So if God doesn't help me, I'm in a lot of trouble. So, go check out my GoFundMe. It'll be up soon. My friend is writing it. In the meantime, I do have a PayPal. And Cash App, and Venmo. Did I include the Venmo link? I'll have to add the Venmo link. Any donation helps. Even if like it's $1, it helps. And the encouraging thoughts and the encouraging messages help a lot too. Anything else you wish me to say, Jehovah? Thanks for keeping me alive. And there is no pain in heaven. That's been helpful for me to keep in mind. I would have killed myself long ago, to tell you the truth, but God won't let me. So, I'm still here. It'll be worth it in the end. When I overcome the tests of this world, and I don't take my life or snap at people when I'm angry or in pain unfairly, and I prove to God that I'm a good person in spite of all of this, He'll reward me in heaven, and there won't be any pain there. So, and if you could please heal me, sir, please, I'd really, really appreciate it. So anyway, in the mean, like, heal me before heaven, you know it. You know what I meant. I meant before death. Like, if you could heal me on this earth too, because I'd be so much more functional for the kingdom of God if I wasn't exhausted all the time. So anyway, anything else you wish me to say, Yava? That's what I got for now. Bye, guys.